I have a Surface Duo, I have an Xbox controller, and I have Game Pass Ultimate subscribed. Let's check out xCloud streaming on the Surface Duo. So if you guys remember, early in August, I pulled this frame out of a video and got a little excited about the prospect of being able to have something like a video chat going on one screen, streaming something like Forza to the other screen on your Surface Duo. Well, now we can actually test these things out, see how they work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Surface Duo and I'm going to load up xCloud streaming, and I'm just going to show you how well it works. So I'm going to be streaming this output to the Earphone app, so things may look a little bit janky for you, but I'll kind of give you the best feedback I can as to how this looks for me. Unfortunately, when I plug this thing in USB-C to HDMI, it comes out, the aspect ratio gets really screwy, and it just really makes for a pretty poor recording experience. So this looks bigger and easier to see, but it's a little bit janky, so it's not perfect either way, but it's the way I'm going to go for this one. We'll see how it works out. So what you have to do is you download the new Game Pass app, and once you load this thing up, it's pretty straightforward. You're just going to pick an app, or a game I should say, and you're going to start playing it. Xbox One controller that I've got paired over Bluetooth to this Surface Duo, and we're just going to launch Grounded. And just like in that video, I'm going to rotate it into what they would call laptop mode, and I'm going to set it down here. We're going to see how this goes. So now obviously if you wanted to do this, you could use an 8-bit do or something like that, but the button layouts may not be quite right. The way that the Xbox controller is laid out, the buttons, you may be hitting A when you think you're hitting B, so forth and so on. Also, you're going to get access to the Xbox button, which actually does work exactly as you would hope it would. It pulls up that menu just like it would on a real Xbox. There's some weirdness sometimes, like you can see up there at the top, you can see a bar of the top of my background that's not getting cropped out completely, and I don't know what that is. I don't know why that would be the case. And I am getting network errors, and I don't feel like I should be. I have a 300 megabit connection. And I am, I've got a strong signal in here. I've got 5 bars. I am noticing much longer loading times than I am accustomed to. Not streaming this, actually just playing it natively on my PC. Skip that little cutscene there, and we are now in the game. So as far as how things look, I mean, it's a little blurry. It really looks pretty solid though. My biggest problem with this is just input latency. I'm going to see if I can make this as clear as I can. That's a little troubling. If I really kind of get down here and getting close, could I play this? Yeah, I mean, it's not terrible. My biggest problem in a first-person shooter kind of a thing, or first-person perspective game, it's that when I let go of my turn, I continue spinning. Now, these are not new problems to GameCloud, or xCloud, I should say. These are game streaming problems. This is nothing new at all. So, do you want to play something like this that might have some high action in it? I don't know. I don't know if that's something that you necessarily are going to have a ton of fun with. So it looks like I'm getting about 274 down and over 40 up. I can't imagine that, going to 50 or 60 up is going to be any better in terms of the latency that I'm experiencing here. Personally, as someone who very much is affected by that input latency and is really bothered by it, I'm not super duper pleased with how that feels. I've not found a streaming service yet that I really enjoyed, that I felt like I could play. I don't know that this is going to change anything. Something else that's kind of irritating about this as well is when you want to go home from here, I can sit here and sometimes you can just sit there swiping away over and over. I can go down here and it's fine. I go up here and you just can't get it to go home. You have to actually rotate it vertically. Then you can get it to go home, and you can see that the bar doesn't even appear, which is weird. Something that they showed in some of their trailers, they showed controls on the bottom screen, game on the top screen. So let's try spanning this thing, which is really hard because it just doesn't want to do it. If you span it, you just get the game with a big hinge down the middle. Let's try rotating it. It doesn't respond to being rotated. So that thing that they showed in the trailer with the controls on the bottom screen and the game on the top screen just isn't here. I mean, yeah, hopefully that's coming because it's kind of a selling feature of this thing. But it's not here currently. Now there are some games that say play with touch controls. You know, let's see what happens if you span that game. Does it understand? Okay, so here's a really good example of some weirdness. It's not cutting out my background behind it. No controls. You can see my desktop still. Okay, so now I've got controls that have popped up on screen, which the other games don't appear to do. I think it's a game-by-game sort of situation. Let's try spanning it again. No rotation. Hinge down the middle. No real true spanning support. What if I hold it like this? Is this any better? I mean, this honestly is kind of embarrassingly bad. I mean, that are you gonna play the game like that with your background visible? Some games seem to do that. Sometimes they don't. You can't close out of the game unless you rotate it up, the correct orientation. The other screen having controls on it, evidently not true, or at least not here yet. Overall, I'm pretty lukewarm. In a pinch, you could play some games. Anything that's high action, I really would struggle to be able to play like a racing game where you're gonna make quick reactions. I don't know. I don't know how much fun you're gonna have with xCloud streaming. I'd love to know what you guys think. Have you had better experiences? How does it feel to you? Do you maybe not notice the input latency as much? I'd love to know what you think in the comments down below. Be sure and hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. I'll catch you on the next one, and until then, stay nerdy, my friends. If you enjoy my content, please consider becoming a Scary If Literal member. You'll get access to a whole bunch of emoticons to use with live streams and a shout out on an upcoming video. Thanks as always for your continued support.